if this all goes wrong again, like we've had about 2 weeks where it's just suddenly frozen, like, or switched off, I will just take myself out of it and start again. And then you will find me. But let's hope that doesn't happen this week. Did you see last night's full... Oh, I've lost it. There we go. Let's try again. I want to show you last night's full moon. Here we go. There we go. So this was the full moon last night in Aquarius, the sturgeon moon. Oh, I'm getting seasick. I don't know which way to bring it. That's it. Those are not UFOs. That's a reflection of the lights I've gotten over in the other side of the room. Now we know how they get UFOs. So there we go. There's the full moon with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, with 6 UFOs. It's not UFOs. It's just the full moon. It was a sturgeon moon and it was absolutely lovely. So there we go. Just thought you might like to see that. Anyway, how are we all? And hello, how lovely to see so many of you here. Poonam, Andy, be careful driving. Christine, you've got it hot, hot, hot. It's pretty hot here, but not as hot. Hi, Ravina. Hi, Poonam. Hi, AMAC. Liz, the Iron Maiden. Who've I missed out? Christine, we've got everybody. And I'm a bit discombobulated today. I think basically at some point the heat just gets to us. And August is a funny month, isn't it? Because a lot of people go on holidays and a lot of people are just kind of doing their own thing and not really sort of doing everyday things. Janice, Rainy, Donegal, Anne, you're in Ireland as well. Cosmic BL, hello. You're feeling electric. That must be that Gemini. Uranus in Gemini, because of course we've got this sextile at the moment from Saturn retrograde in Pisces to Uranus in Gemini, which is actually really quite a nice sextile, which I'm going to come to in a minute. But first of all, thank you for being here. How lovely to see you all. Yes, it's hot. How's the weather everywhere else? And of course, this could be an interesting week. In fact, the astrology is interesting this week because, of course, Mercury, our planet of communication, goes direct tomorrow, Monday. Thank goodness for that. And I'll come to that in a minute. So these are the headlines. So we've got Mercury going direct. We had a lot of other energy around last night's full moon, which will still be in our theatre of play. We had the Mars-Saturn opposition, which I was going to do an astrobite about, and then I just felt very lazy. I felt very lazy this weekend. I've done nothing, and I needed to do nothing, and sometimes we just have to do nothing. Hello, Russian Dye Earthling. Hi, Aisling as well, Ailing, Jenny the geriatric wandering wanderer. I love you're in Nepal, fantastic. Oh my God. Oh, you saw 8:08 on the clock on Friday's Lion Gate. I think that's a very positive sign. And oh yes, there's another Andy here, isn't there? Yes. You sat under the moon for a few minutes. It was very pretty, wasn't it? Yeah, it was very pretty. It was beautiful. And I made an extra effort to stay up to see it rise because I've just been so tired this weekend. Anyway, yesterday or today, we had Mars opposite Saturn yesterday, which, just to give you a sense of the energy that's been around this weekend, because it may explain how a lot of us perhaps have been feeling. It was orange. Yes, Christine, it was incredible. And you see, you've got this energy with the Mars-Saturn opposition, which we've still got this energy of action opposite restraint. Well, I think in my life, or in Penny's world, restraint took over because all the things that I've wanted to do which needed action have not happened. So I've stayed in a Libran haze of balance, whilst Saturn said, there, that's fine. And Mars said, this wasn't what we planned. We planned to do some astrobites, and I haven't done them. Maybe I'll do some tomorrow. We've got an interesting week, but just let's have a think about this Mars opposite Saturn and Neptune, because it sounds a bit contradictory. And you've got this conflict, and you might experience this in your life in various ways. Hi, Nikki from Canada. Good to see you here. And it was read in Montreal. Fantastic. Oh, Steve, you're here as well. Good to see you. And so what I want to say is it kind of brings together the tension, action, boundaries, and dreams and ideals. And because Mars is in Libra, you've got this undercurrent of the relationship dynamics and a yearning for karmic growth and for solution and for action. So Mars is trying to say, let's see if we can find some balance here and get everything moving. And Saturn is saying, I think we need to take a few steps back and just take some time out and have a look at these ideals that Neptune is representing before we actually do anything. Estrella Castens, Netherlands, welcome to Netherlands. And it's good to see all of you here. It's fabulous. So we've had this dreams versus reality energy over the weekend. How might it have manifested in your individual lives? Are there things going on or dreams that you'd like to manifest that you're having a bit of a battle with somehow making them concrete? That, it's like the reality of the situation just doesn't somehow have coherence with the reality of the energy. And it's as if we're fighting it. I tell you the image that has just come to me. Don Quixote. Don Quixote was this Spanish kind of knight conquistador who basically jousted with dreams. And there is something about this energy of the Mars opposite Saturn, Neptune, which is jousting with a partner who doesn't respond. Your energy is going nowhere. It's falling flat. So it's around that kind of energy. And yet Neptune in Aries is trying to create some fire into the visions and dreams and the inspiration that we have for the future, but also that the reality is clouded by sometimes the unrealistic expectations that we have. So we've had that energy going on yesterday and today. There's been an enchantement this week. Nature has gone bonkers, Christine Jones. Yeah, it has a bit really, hasn't it? Yeah. And it's going to get hotter this week. I know that here in Malta and Gozo, we are heading for the 40-degree mark. So for those of you in Fahrenheit, that's well into the hundreds. So we're heading on up that way. And I knew it. Hi, Shirley. I knew it would be because I was talking to some friends day before yesterday saying, well, haven't we been lucky this summer? It's really been quite kind to us. No dramatic heat waves, no high temperatures. Well, famous last words. Who has the last laugh? Mars in Libra. Mercury goes direct and says, here's those hot temperatures I've been keeping at bay. Now I'm in fire, baby. I'm in Leo energy fire. Here's some fire for you. So chasing windmills and not catching them. Yes, Jim. Shay, you're jumping you're jumping in late. I read that as you're jumping in a lake. Dearie me. Swansea, okay, you're having a battle. You've just had your 71st. 8-8, many happy returns. And I jinxed it. I did, Poonam, I jinxed the weather. Now we're going to have, still waiting for a 2.5-year battle to resolve in connection with government application for a certain program. Gosh. Oh, that reminds me. I, this afternoon, watched a very interesting interview that Stefan Burns had with Robert, oh gosh, what's his name? Robert, oh God, the man who did the Temple, Professor Robert Temple, the man who's written a book called A New Science of Heaven about plasma. I really, really, really recommend this interview, which if I can find, I will put it in the chat, because it's 2 hours. Do something else while you're listening to it. But listening to Robert Temple, my goodness, does he speak sense about so many things. So give it a go. Maybe Mercury going direct will help push things along. Well, I think it's interesting. Yes, Stefan is awesome. Absolutely awesome. I think that we have an interesting week because, of course, we've got this proposed meeting taking place on Friday in Alaska between our vegetable soup man, Mr. Carrot Head, and with Mr. Putin. I don't know what we need. Knobhead? No, I don't think I'm allowed to say things like that. I think we will have to call him. He'll have to be a what's a cold? He's ice cream, really, isn't he? So he's the dollop of something on top of the ice cream. Anyway, they're going to have a chat about Ukraine, and they're not, but maybe that'll change. They weren't planning to include Volodymyr Zelensky, which I think is a massive oversight, because I think of all the people that should be around that table, the person that is in charge of the country being discussed should be there. To me, that is common sense. It's also called respect and courtesy. But what do I know? I like that. Nobsville. The noose is tightening. Yes, at Nobsicle. That's it, Nobsicle. Love it. I love it. Yes, absolute Nobsicle. And I think it's interesting, however, that Mercury goes direct this week. So that is a positive in the favor of this meeting. Mars in Libra means that hopefully both sides will exercise caution and restraint in keeping their interactions, friendly and not too fiery, because we've got the Libran energy of balance and harmony. So I think actually that energy bodes well. The other energy that I think is helpful to this meeting between Mr. Carrot Head and Mr. Nobsicle is, of course, the Venus-Jupiter conjunction on Tuesday. Now that is a super positive conjunction, and I am going to do an astrobite for that, and I will come to that very soon, but I will talk about it a little today, because I want to look at now today. Let's just start with today and just run through the days of the week this week. I'm actually going to do astrology because I'm an astrologer. And who's not a friend of Europe? Do you mean Nobsicle? No, he's most definitely not a friend of Europe. And in fact, the rest of the European nations are a little peeved that they have not been consulted about this meeting in Alaska, which, of course, the only people it affects, depending on which way the scales go, is Europe. Oh, and Russia. But Europe, we are the ones who bear the brunt of whatever gets decided. So you, oh, Andy, as a Capricorn, you lived a life of Saturn reminding you of his weight on a regular basis. Yeah, absolutely. I'm afraid that is, yes, Beth Hendrickson, respect has been trampled on. It is just not there, is it? And yes, and Vance has been fishing in England at Chevening, in Kent, no less. So they've all been having a jolly good time, which is nice to see. So today we've got Mars in Libra actually trining Pluto in Aquarius, which is a nice energy. The effect it's had on me is to make me just want to sit in a chair and do nothing. I don't know about you or those of you starting the day ahead, but that's how it's affected me. And there is an energy that can be utilized from this trine to Pluto, where we can get collective transformation with the magnetic energy of, energy-driven Mars that is looking for leadership qualities to help, through Pluto in Aquarius, mobilize the collective into action. And I think that the problem is we've still got the Mars-Saturn activation, Mars-Neptune opposition, so that we have this visionary activism, which is undermining our ability to take action. We're getting lost in the ideals and ideas of how the various problems that we have on the planet today can be solved. And I just have to tell you this because I feel it is my duty to put it out there. Professor Robert Temple, who wrote the book A New Science of Heaven, who has gone into huge research about plasma and the universe being made up of mostly plasma, and also of water and plasma, plasma almost being the complementary element alongside water. And we know about the work that has been done with water. Now, he was talking about how he was at, and I know he will want me to give this message out, he was talking about a conference he attended in Brighton, in England, a few years ago, where it was a conference where many learned scientists and thinkers had been invited, and 30 of them at the end were invited into a kind of annex and were asked to come up with a proposal that would be how the world governments react or respond if or when contact is made by an external life form, in other words, non-human, and how we actually deal with that. So there are departments in various governments, which I'm sure you all know, where they do actually think about how are we going to approach this if or when, it probably already has happened, contact is made. And one of the criteria was that under no circumstances could the general public be told that this had happened. They will do everything and anything but tell the general public that contact has been made, thus sweeping away all transparency, all open speech and free thought, and we are not allowed to have it. So I just wanted to slip that into my video in an effort to help the word go out there that this is what goes on undercover behind the scenes. And I know that both Stefan Burns and Professor Robert Temple will be more than happy that I have done my little bit in sharing this information. We have to develop remote viewing. We each have to develop remote viewing, Christine Jones. We each need to, when we go to bed at night, or if we're sitting in the chair in the afternoon, just go into our inner world and think ourselves into other places. Maybe have a map out and just put a pin in the map and say, I'm now going to think myself there and see what I see. It's all down to training the mind to do the things it was designed to do, which have been taught out of us. We have had that information withheld and taken away from us. Now, I think part of this Mars Libra trining Pluto in Aquarius, bring back a little bit of the astrology in case there is anyone picking up chat thinking I'm talking about things I shouldn't be talking about. I think that the Mars trining Pluto, remember, in Aquarius is very much about the collective community, but also let's see it as the universal community. In other words, the community out there, the community of human and non-human beings, and that they and we have to be allowed to develop and interact with freedom. Because I think, and I not hope, I somehow feel on a deep inner level that the divine intelligence, if you like, which we can have as our blanket word for God, wants us all to have what we want and wants us to be okay and wants us to enjoy the fruits of the planet that we find ourselves on. It's not about suffering, which, as we know, various religious traditions have tried to bring us up with. So there's something about this Pluto in Aquarius, and maybe it's because it's reaching that point in Aquarius in its retrograde where it's going to station direct again, which I think is, it's quite soon. It's quite soon. And it's almost like it's on a springboard. It gets pulled back so far. And I'm seeing Aquarius as not just the collective community on Earth, but the collective community of the universe and of the solar system, of our galaxy. And yes, Christine, we can manifest anything we wish for. But you're absolutely right. We have to be careful what we wish for. And inclusion is everything. And I think that, and this is what I think we are seeing in many countries now, since the advent of wokeism, is the almost abolishing of free thinking, let alone free speech. Free speech should just be a human right. It doesn't mean denigrating or criticizing or damning others, but free speech with respect and a willingness for the other to learn and grow. Surely that is an ability we should all have. It should be a privilege that we all have. And free thinking. But I came across someone else who was also talking about how it's almost got to the point where free thought is no longer allowed. We're going down a very dark rabbit hole if free thought, let alone free speech, is not allowed or permitted. So there's something here about there's something about how we break through this. I've got a quote here, and it's a Japanese proverb, and it's, "The bamboo that bends is stronger than the oak that resists." And it's so true. And there's another lovely one here, which is about persistence and patience, which is, the moment you're ready to quit is usually the moment right before the miracle happens. Yes, silence is golden, Christine. So then tomorrow, Mercury goes direct. Now that is going to bring quite a shift in the energies. And I think we are going to notice this week speeding up, because Mercury is in Leo. This is about leadership. This is fighting talk. This is actually quite clever talk, I would suggest. And I think we start to get clarity on things that have been rather foggy and difficult to understand. And it's an opportunity to make sense of the things that have been held up, delayed, blocked, whilst we've been going through this retrograde. And I think that as Mercury moves back forwards, it's a bit of a strange way to put it, as Mercury starts to move forwards again through Leo, we re-find our self-confidence and our voice and our authenticity and our ability to lead by our actions. And any miscommunications that we've had can now resolve, especially if they are around the areas of ego and any projects, creative projects that we've had planned that have somehow been really slowed down through this retrograde will start picking up. And I think we will find the kind of words to put across the pathos, the empathy, the drama required to make our point. We can clear the air with this Mercury direct. We can pitch our ideas in the light of the spotlight. And we can lead others with inspiration. So I think as Mercury gathers speed, we will feel that momentum gaining strength. So let me just move on to, I've got a quote for this as well, because I thought this is quite important to find a quote for Mercury going direct. John Buchan said, "A leader's job is not to put greatness into people, but to elicit it, for the greatness is already there." It's a little bit like our soul fam. The interaction we have means we are all actually center stage through the live chat, through the interaction. It may be my face that shows on the screen and facilitates the chat, but we're driving this train. All of us are driving it. If you guys weren't here, I'd be talking to an empty room. I'd be talking to a dead camera. So it's the fact that we're all here, that the life comes in, the energy comes in. But let's look at this wonderful, wonderful, exciting conjunction of Venus, our planet of love and relationship, self-worth, conjunct Jupiter in Cancer, on the 12th of August. Jupiter, our planet of luck, opportunity, expansion. Yes, thank you, Liz. Help my channel grow. Like, subscribe, comment, and all of those wonderful things. Christine, I'd be surrounded by spirits. Yes. Well, I guess when I record the videos, when I do the Astrobites, it's kind of the same thing. Yes, you're right. I'd be surrounded by the plasma beings because now I've discovered they're there all the time. And this Venus conjunct Jupiter, it's one of the most benefic conjunctions we get in a year because these are the two benefic planets, Venus and Jupiter. So you've got them in the sign of Cancer, which is about family, which is about emotional safety, which is about emotional nourishment, heart-centered growth, and the potential of fertility in all things. What a great time to try for a baby if you want to get pregnant. Or if you don't, maybe be careful this week. Just saying. And the core meaning of this energy is, in Cancer especially, is emotional abundance. This is a wonderful week to have heart-centered communications with your nearest and dearest, to heal over anything that has broken, any relationships that have fallen by the wayside. You'll find that you have unconditional compassion and love at the moment. The blessings that can come through the connections that you make really create that wonderful sense of unconditional love. So there's deep emotional bonding that can happen, and a sense that what we give out at this time, we also receive in. And obviously, if any of you want to make romantic declarations of love, does anyone want to tell me they love me? Then this is a great week to do it. Catherine, thank you. In Greece, hello, my darling. Oh, Jim, thank you, thank you. Oh, look at all those hearts coming up. It's lovely. Thank you, guys. And so it's, how will this affect what's happening this week in terms of the summit between the icicle, I think I'm going to call him an icicle, and the turnip? Oh, he's not a turnip, he's a carrot. Okay, and I don't know what we call Zelensky. I think we have to call him, I don't know. I think we need to find something nice for Zelensky. Give me your ideas in the chat. What we call, oh, thank you, Tiffany. You have to find me a nice name for Zelensky that we can use. But I think this energy bodes well. I would say this is a better week for them to be meeting than, say, last week. Coming up to that full moon may not have been quite a good time. Mr. Coco. Oh, I like that, Catherine. Mr. Coco. Hero. Yes, he's our hero. Oh, yeah, definitely. Hero. Cosmic BL, Christine. Hero. Mr. Coco, our hero. That's what we can call him. And there is what we have to watch out for is that they may go over the top in actually dripping with charm, in a kind of conscious effort to avoid anyone's egos getting hurt or upset. What we have to bear in mind is they just might go over the top and make us all feel a bit nauseated by the backslapping and the congratulations and the what a wonderful chat we've had. And then the next day they go back to bombing the out of each other. Just saying. But I think, and I think that's a lovely Mr. Coco. Oh, he loves Coco, does he? Okay. Well, we'll have him Coco hero. And love conquers all. Absolutely. And I think what we have to remember is that if he does get invited, which I think is appalling, I have to say, I think it's appalling. He is not invited to the meeting about his own country. Hello, Carrot, Icicle, if you're listening, what the, will you let the man have some balls, please? Oh, I think I was getting a little bit angry there because, you see, you know what I'm doing? I'm doing the Venus Jupiter in Cancer. I'm being nurturing, protective, and defensive. I don't want our lovely Mr. Coco to get hurt. I don't want anyone to make a fool of him like has been done before. Because I think of all the people I've seen on the world stage, he is the most earnest, most authentic, purest, and trying to do his utmost best to save his people, his country, and the boundaries thereof. Good point, Jim. Lunch meat, yes. Yeah, crystal ball. I like that, Steve Bowden. Yes. And yeah, absolutely, Christine. Hello, what about Europe? Europe has a say, huh? Because we're the ones that literally will get the fallout if it all goes belly up. So, there's a lot of difficult energy here. But I think we're going to see a surge of empathy globally this week, with everyone wishing and meditating upon the diplomatic healing for the peace efforts that we are trying to achieve. But we mustn't lose sight of, and that's, I think, what Mr. Coco is worried about. We mustn't lose sight of who started it. And we know who started it. And there may be an argument there about going back in time, but I think it's always been Russia that started it. And I think the problem is that we need to make sure that Mr. Carrot Head reads up on his history, does a little bit of prep before he goes, so that he's actually aware of the facts and not fantasy. That would be incredibly helpful. Yes, absolutely. Nobel Peace Prize. Yes, I agree, Poonam, that how can anyone mediate without the important people there? Yes, I know you meant Nobel, yeah. And I despair. I despair. But I think all we can do as a collective is send out collective healing and common sense, and maybe practice remote viewing to that point where that meeting is going to take place, and give them their scripts. We can write the script of how they write. You keep what was yours originally. You go back there. This is yours. Done. Stop killing each other. Yes, Melania does. Yes, absolutely. And there was someone else saying something here. Yes, I know, Christine. It does seem virtually impossible for him to understand anything but himself. And Catherine, you're right. Go to the opposite, and the truth sits there. Yes, it does. It does. But in general, we could say a mantra for this conjunction of Jupiter conjunct Venus, which is, I open my heart to the beauty of connection and receive love with grace. I honor my roots, and from them I grow. There's something here about unconditional love. And what has sadly happened is that most world leaders, maybe not Mr. Coco, have lost sight of unconditional love, of respect. And they really have got caught up in the detail, and they're not seeing the bigger picture. Coco Hero is an example of diplomacy. Yes. And yes, Julia, you agree with President Zelensky. He will be in history books remembered for his righteousness. Yes, absolutely. Janice, does he read? I shouldn't think so. We'll have to do it in cartoon form for him, I think, won't we? So, also on the 12th, there is another very important aspect that's happening. And remember, this energy is leading up to the Friday, I don't even know what day Friday is. Friday is the 15th when they meet. But on Friday, on the 12th, which is Tuesday, we've got Saturn in Aries, retrograde, sextiling Uranus in Gemini. Now, we're going to keep getting this sextile over quite a few months. It's going to move away from itself, come back, move away. It's then going to have a sextile when both have retreated into the previous signs for a short while. When Uranus has gone back into Taurus and Saturn has gone back into Pisces, we will get that sextile at the later degrees of Pisces and Taurus. And this energy, you have to remember, a sextile is very dynamic and helpful. It's there this week, which is positive. There's something here about using the nature of discipline with thinking outside the box. If they can sort of think outside of the box, if they can see the bigger picture, then there is a way that this can work. But my fear is, and I think we all feel the same, is that they get stuck in the problem rather than looking outside the box for a solution. I mean, Mr. Carrot Head is blithely saying, oh, well, they'll have to give a bit and they'll have to give a bit and he can have some of that and he can have some of that. No. That's how all the trouble started in the first place. That's why we have a war in the Middle East. Because sadly, my fellow countrymen, my ancestors in Britain, were part of the team that set the boundaries and the country boundaries in the Middle East at the end of the Second World War. And thereby we have this current problem. So you can't just go steamrolling in to a country and culture, take over, eradicate its soul. You have to give that country a say in how it is run. And, oh, Cosmic BL, you've pulled a Celtic card. The dolmen symbolizes strength, courage, and balance in all situations. You must act with strength and passion. If something is important to you, reactions will be very positive. Oh, Julia, that's interesting. Will Mr. Crankle's health play into his Mercury return? Oh, it's a momentary transit, so it may do, but I have to say, from observing the gentleman over the last few weeks and months, I'm really not sure that he has a good grasp of what is going on in general. This may be due to being overworked, having to try and process so much information all at once, and I might be being very kind there, but he's definitely showing signs of not being on the ball, of really not having a grasp of the sort of the height and the depth and the breadth of what's going on. Christine, the biggest problem is that they didn't just stop with the treaty and be happy with what they were given. They've continuously been taking more every year since 1948. And hi, Sil, I want to see what you're saying. Yeah, borders here in Israel. Same in India and Pakistan. That's right, in so many places. Here it was indeed the Sykes-Picot spelling agreement to decide on the borders back in 1915, 1916, or around that time. Yeah, you're right, Sil. And that's the problem. And of course, those people aren't even alive today. So they've, gone trotting off to heaven, and they're not even having to be responsible for any of this. And hi, Debbie Shifting Veils. His mental capacity is being totally overwhelmed. I absolutely agree. And yes, so, I think that this sextile we're going to get from Saturn to Uranus is about the brilliant ideas that can emerge at this time. And Saturn's saying, yes, but hold on. Let's see if in practice this can work, because that's the way you have to actually address these things. Can it actually work in practice, whatever it is they're thinking of doing? So that is the astrology of the week ahead. And I'm going to leap on to our word for the week, because I just want to see what you're saying. Maybe us in the UK have problems with your borders because of karma. Actually, very good point, Annabelle. Very good point. Should we be afraid of the energies coming up in September, October? Oh, Sil, let's worry about those when we get there. We've got eclipses in September, October. There'll be change. This year and next year are a year of dramatic change, and we're just living through it. We are experiencing it firsthand. And I think the thing is, it's not helpful, Sil, to be afraid of what might be coming. Deal with what is in the now. We can only deal with what is in the now in our personal environment. We cannot possibly take on the woes of the world and the planet and worry about everything else that's happening everywhere else. We can come together like we do here to discuss it, to debate it, to look at what we can do on a practical level. And we know that, on one level, all we can do is vote for the people we think would do the right thing, or we write to our MPs, or we write to our congressmen or our senators, or whatever it is one has to do to get one's voice heard. So, yes, Debbie, we are living in interesting times, and we do have to be careful what we wish for. And you're right, Christine, we mustn't have fear. Fear just invites more things for you to be fearful of. So it's really important to stay in a place of balance, of harmony, of knowing that you're riding through this energy. And if you hold the reins steadily and just keep this horse at a steady canter, you can get to the other side. So don't break into a gallop. You might have to slow down to a trot or even a walk for a while. But I suggest you don't break into a gallop. So, yes, Liz, fear makes people comply. And the last thing we want is people not thinking for themselves and not having freedom of speech. Now, it'll be very interesting it is very interesting to see how this will continue to unfold, because freedom of speech is such a big and important thing. And I think, which is why we are so lucky that we still have platforms like YouTube, where to a certain extent I can say what I feel. To a certain extent, there are parameters, there are things I'm aware that I cannot say, things or people I shouldn't really go near to discuss. I certainly don't want to incite the wrath of YouTube. And, I suppose my driving, motivating force is my passion for astrology, my passion for freedom of speech, my passion for empowering others through astrology, through my experience as a psychotherapist. So my knowledge and personal work on self-development. And I think that it is so important that we have a platform like this where we can, from all over the world, all over the planet, we can say what we feel within reason, because we're all good at reading between the lines. We're all good at reading behind my eyes. We're all good at picking up the unspoken words that are not said. You feel like having a good laugh, Cosmic BL, don't we? Always. Yes, absolutely. Hello, Kelly. Good to see you. Yes, easy does it. Absolutely. Easy does it. I have a word for the week, which I thought would be appropriate, because I think we should all somehow try and include the energy of diplomacy in everything we undertake this week, because we have nice energy. However, what can happen is we get too complacent and the pendulum gets out of kilter and it swings too much. So what we have to do is hold a steady course. Winston Churchill said on the essence of diplomacy that diplomacy is the art, oh, we know this one, I've said it before, of telling people to go to hell in such a way that they ask for directions. Oh, that's right, it was a slightly different ending, so I thought I'll use that one. So Will Durant said on patience in negotiations to say nothing, especially when speaking, is half the art of diplomacy. Then we've got one on bridging differences by an unknown, which is diplomacy is the art of building bridges where there are no rivers. And on listening before acting, George Bernard Shaw said, the single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. Ain't that the truth? And then we have on compromise. Let us never negotiate out of fear, but let us never fear to negotiate. And that was John F. Kennedy. And I think that if our three main players on the stage on Friday, assuming the third player who should have been the first one there, Mr. Coco, is present, that as long as they don't fear negotiating, then maybe something can be achieved. And I just want to see what Christine said. It's how we were brought up. Yes, it's true. It's the end of an era that we once knew. Our moral understanding is being assaulted by the current leaders. How did the opposite of everything we knew flip? I know. Oh, what's Debbie on to? I've missed the thread of that. Let me know. Russian die-earthing, you believe in freedom of speech. You just feel people should be more responsible with what they say. That's right. We have to think before we speak. There's a quote here from Ronald Reagan on lasting solutions, which is, peace is not the absence of conflict, but the ability to handle conflict by peaceful means. Now, I think that is quite important. And so it's going to be quite a week. It's going to be quite a week. Thank you, Kelly. I'm glad you like the quotes today. I'm just going to have a sip. Shall we have our card for the week? And I think I will focus on what's happening on Friday. Let's see what's going to emerge from Friday. So let's have a look. See what the tarot give me. Oh, hang on. No, it's not that. Oh, no. Oh, it's that one. Oh, actually, that's quite good. Temperance. Patience. We have to be patient. I don't think they will reach any particular solution on Friday from this card. And I would say that, yes, you can hear my cats running around. They are. It's because it's nearly supper time. So they're all getting excited. So patience, temperance is asking us to be patient. And I suspect they won't actually reach any solution. I think it'll be a stalemate. I think that, I think it'll be a stalemate because I think too much. I think I should feel. Were the kitty cats scampering about just before? Yes. Yes, they've been. It's easy to blame Israel and Israelis for the terrible situation in Gaza. I think that's unfair. Yes. The thing is, it's not the people. It's the leadership of these countries. And what we have to remember with all these situations is we don't know the ultimate truth of what's going on behind closed doors, or what the secret is behind why leaders do what they do. We don't know, which is why I think I've said before, the only way we are going to know the truth about anything, including this, summit they're going to have on Friday, is if we're there. So let's all remote view to that point in Alaska and see if we can actually get a sense of what they're all saying. And let's have a look. Iceman wants what he wants and doesn't want diplomacy or fairness. I'm afraid you're right. And yeah, we can't be the aggressor. They're all puppets. The truth is never given to us, as Poonan says. How are my back and shoulders, Shirley? Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you. Really good. Oh, bless you. Thank you, Shirley. Yes, those two lie so much, it won't matter at all, will it? No. We can take everything they say with a pinch of salt. If Mr. Coco is there, he'll be the only one that knows the truth. And he'll be told, on pain of more bombs being lobbed over, don't tell anyone the truth about what we've said. And that'll be the truth. Oh, okay, Christine, we bought Alaska from Russia long ago. Watch Iceland demand it back for free. I love it. Yeah, that'll be what happens, won't it? I can see that. Yeah. I know. I did think it was interesting. I thought, why Alaska? And yeah, we bought Alaska. Yeah, interesting. You're right, Cosmic BL. Let's not give up hope. I mean, the energy is good. And I think it's good that that Mercury is direct again, because I think that bodes well for the communication side of things. But it may not be until next month, when we start moving into the eclipses, that we actually see a result of of what's going on. And I just think, you know, Saturn retrograde in Aries, opposite Mars, the god of war, in Libra. Everyone's hands are tied. Nobody can move. It's a stalemate. See me, hi. Oh, it's all right, my love. We've missed you. Too much ego for Veghead and the Iceman. I love that, Janice. It doesn't have a good foundation for progress. It smacks of more shenanigans. Yes, what a wonderful word. Yeah, so listen, guys, we could go round and round in circles, but I guess next Sunday, when we talk about these things, we may have some more information. We may know something. I don't know. Maybe we won't, but let's see. Let's see what unfolds. So thank you, Liz. Listen, all of you, you have no idea how much I really appreciate you all being here. If it wasn't for you, I think I'd have stayed in bed all day, because I felt like one of those I need a day in bed days, and I've just sat here watching YouTube videos when I planned to do 4 astrobites, and I've done none of them. But maybe I'll do something soon. I'll probably do one tomorrow. Cosmic BL, their signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, all that air. Oh my God. Yes, you're right. Very good point. Oh, you're so welcome. Let's just have, I tell you what, let's have a quick prayer for peace, eh? Let's ask them if they could all perhaps just think of peace, common sense, and please stop killing children and people. Children and children's parents. Please, guys, 3 men in charge. Mr. Carrot, Mr. Icicle, Mr. Coco. I know you want to stop killing Mr. Coco, but Mr. Carrot Head and Mr. Icicle, please stop killing the children and the people. Please. So there we go. That's what I'm saying. And Sil, yes, my Pussycat's International Cat Day on Facebook. Yeah, check my page out. It's more or less public, my page. Anyone can go on it. So listen, guys, have a great week. Have a great evening. Have a great afternoon. Have a great morning. You really are an awesome bunch. And I, for one, am very grateful to have all of this here and all of you. Have a good week, everyone. I answered your email, Poonam. Now I need an answer back. That would be helpful anyway. Okay, darlings. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you, Sil. Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you, Steve. Oh, you're very welcome, Steve. Okay, Poonam. Okay, bye for now, guys. Love you loads. Mwah. Bye. Whoops, here we go. Bye.